Welcome back everyone to another video, and today we are talking about Deshaun Watson and the Cleveland Browns and what to expect in 2024, especially, or I should say specifically with Deshaun Watson, because the Browns are one of the more hyped up teams in the NFL right now. They have an incredible defense with pretty much no weak spots on that defense. Offense is built really well too. It just depends on Deshaun Watson putting everything together. So if you guys want to enjoy today's video, be sure subscribe down below. It is free and takes just a second. I'm on the road to 1,000 subscribers, closing in on 700. So thank you guys for all the support there. But for this video specifically, talking about Deshaun Watson, last year, of course, he goes down and gets hurt and misses again majority of the season. When he played, though, he threw for, I should probably zoom in. For Deshaun Watson, those 6 games played, 1,115 passing yards, 7 touchdowns to 4 interceptions. And then also rushing-wise, Deshaun Watson, 142 rushing yards and 1 touchdown. And I've kind of gone on the record here with what I've said in my quarterback ranking videos and my offense ranking videos, and even just in my AFC North prediction video I did, that I am pretty much out on Deshaun Watson. But I want to make this video because this is a very pivotal year for him, just for his career, not just for the Browns. I made a video actually last year saying that this past season was a huge year for him and he went down. I kind of wanted to revisit that same line of thinking because last season I thought it was a big year for him because obviously he wasn't, really playing football for a while. The Browns needed that spark and he just really wasn't that for them. And so now pivoting to this season, not only has he not really been that spark for them, but the Browns are a phenomenal team, and if it becomes very evident that he is the one holding the team back, they're going to have to cut their losses despite how much money they gave him and first round picks they traded for him. The Browns' ceiling in the NFL is very, very high, and I don't know if they're going to be able to hit that mark with Deshaun Watson at quarterback, at least if he's currently playing at the level of play he's been playing at, which is not very high. Now, I know obviously there's a lot of off-the-field issues with Deshaun Watson, or at least there was, and I'm sure that all going on probably contributed to him not being there mentally when it came time for the games and whatnot, or maybe it was sitting out for a year and not being as active in actual, real like game reps. Whatever it is that has led to his current level of play, it is not the player the Browns traded for back in Houston. Deshaun Watson, at least so far in Cleveland, has not really gone through his progressions well. He hasn't really passed the ball accurately, consistently very much. I would say the only thing he's done exceptionally well is really extend plays and break tackles and make plays with his legs. And even then, it doesn't always amount to him making a great, throw, like after he's kind of extending the play. A lot of times it results in him running for like a 2-yard gain or throwing the ball away. It's not always like a big wow play, but for what it's worth, he does a lot of times give guys the opportunity to get open if a play is busted. And so once again, I mean, going to the depth chart, this is really what Deshaun Watson has to work with, and it's why I think there's a lot of pressure building on him because this is a phenomenal offense. I mean, when Nick Chubb is in, it definitely changes the dynamic a whole lot because he's one of the best running backs in the league when healthy. But I mean, Nick Chubb in of itself, I love Nick Chubb, but there's definitely a question with him of if he can get back to his, healthy form second devastating knee injury now. So there's definitely a question there, but even aside from him, you have Amari Cooper, Jerry Jeudy, Elijah Moore, Dave Njoku. Like, you have very competent weapons to where, like, a average quarterback should be producing at a fairly high level in this offense. You even have a pretty solid offensive line. So for me, the Browns are going to be very telling as to what happens with Deshaun Watson this year, because if he proves to not be able to succeed in an offense this good, it's going to be probably an uphill battle from here on out of him actually being able to go to other teams and win those starting jobs. So I don't really know what to expect. I'm not going to jump to conclusions, say he gets cut and goes to all this and that. I'm just saying for this year specifically, Deshaun Watson and the Browns need to make the playoffs, just for Deshaun Watson's sake, because if Joe Flacco can come in last season and take you to the playoffs, there's not really a reason why the younger guy you gave more money to and more first-round picks for shouldn't be capable of doing the same thing with essentially the same roster. So like I said, yes, I am personally out on Deshaun Watson. I don't think he bounces back to that form we saw in Houston. I think what we've seen at this point is essentially the level of play we're going to get. Hopefully he can get a full season under his belt, because the first season in Cleveland, he had that suspension. And then the second year, which was this past season, he got hurt. So not a lot of games in the past 3-4 years now. And the thing is, and I think it's why it's so frustrating, is that, like, pre Cleveland, Deshaun Watson was a rising star at quarterback. I mean, he was really, really good. He knocked off Tom Brady at one point in the season, and I want to say Lamar and Mahomes all in the same year. I could be wrong about that, but I believe he had quite a few big statement wins during his time in Houston, and then he went on to, I think, lose in the playoffs to Josh Allen, I think. But regardless, I mean, it was very clear that he was going to be the guy for Houston. Obviously, that all went down, and he kind of, forced his way out / all the other legal stuff, and now he's in Cleveland, and it just hasn't been that player. He doesn't throw the ball deep very well. He doesn't really seem to go through his progressions very well. It's just like, it seems so out of sync and someone that is just not prepared, is at least what I kind of get from just watching him. Is it looks like someone that is just not able to keep up the current, kind of pace of the game almost. But again, I'm still making this video because I know a lot of you guys are not out on Deshaun Watson, and there's always a chance that he does rebound because all the tools are there. He's a great runner. He's proven to have a great arm. He has the core around him as far as weapons and O-line to produce at a high level. It's just a matter of actually doing it at this point, which again, personally, I don't think it's going to happen. If you think so, though, make sure to comment down below and comment why you think he will bounce back to his previous form. And again, things aren't going to get any easier for Deshaun Watson and the Browns because this season, it's a very, very tough schedule because you're in arguably the toughest division in all of football. And even week 1, you're starting against the Cowboys, which, I think from the get-go, we're going to see how Deshaun Watson really does against some of those top defenses. Now, look, it is going to be week 1, so if he underperforms, I'm not going to, all of a sudden jump and say, yep, this is it, he's never going to be good again. It's pretty common for players to struggle, in the first week of the season. But it's not going to really get any easier to where there's, a really nice break. I think the biggest break you probably have really is after Dallas until you face either the Eagles. You could probably make a case for the Raiders defense. But regardless, I mean, you're playing teams like the Cowboys, the Eagles, the Bengals twice a year, the Ravens twice a year, the Steelers twice a year, the Chiefs, and the Dolphins. There is, I mean, it's going to become, I think, very clear around that week, probably 11, 9, 11, 12, if Deshaun Watson is going to be able to play at a high level again in the NFL. Because, in my opinion, if he greatly struggles this year and the Browns finish 9-8 or 8-9, next season you have to at least bring in another quarterback. You have to at least bring in some sort of competition. Because, like I said, there's no reason this Browns team should not be succeeding. And if he is the reason the team is not succeeding, kind of like the Broncos did with Russell Wilson, you have to just cut your losses. Despite, everything you kind of did to get that player there, you have to keep the team moving forward and trying to go in the correct direction. And I don't think Deshaun Watson is going to be the answer for Cleveland to eventually and hopefully bring them in a Super Bowl. And again, I'm not saying it's totally impossible for Deshaun Watson to, be good again, but I personally don't think so. But again, if you do, let me know down below. Let me know down below also what your record prediction is for the Browns this year. Because again, this is a really good team, phenomenal defense, really strong offense. It just comes down to Deshaun Watson. I really do believe this is a pivotal time in his career, at least the 2024 season is. So if you guys enjoyed the video, though, be sure to subscribe down below. Leave a like. I would appreciate all of that. And yeah, again, I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.